What's up, Oiler Nation? Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner here on UFTV. I'm Brandon Emsweller, and spring season is happening right now, even though it snowed yesterday. Welcome to Findlay, Ohio. But as those spring temperatures start to rise, spring sports are being more in effect during this time. Last time we talked to the women's head soccer coach, and now it's time to talk a little bit of golf today. Yes, I'm here with Coach Dom, head coach of women and golf teams. Welcome onto the show.
It's good to be here, Brandon.
Yes, it's really good to be here. So let's just kick things off. Maybe describe some of the goals you set for your players for the spring season that might have been different from the fall.
So on our men's side, we're a very young team this year. We have 6 freshmen actually on our team, 4 which get a lot of playing time. So our goals are a little bit different, especially for the spring, because we've been inside for 5.5 months, and most of their seasons in high school were in the fall. So now that they play fall and spring, our expectations are a little bit different heading into the spring. The first tournament, spring break, it's just a chance to get outside and hit off of grass. And now that we're going to be moving into our spring season, coming up Monday and Tuesday down in Tennessee, our expectations get a little bit higher as each tournament goes on. And
what's different between spring and fall, maybe temperature-wise, and how it could affect the players' play? Because there has to be some type of difference.
Right. So in the fall, both on the men's and women's side, they come in mid-August or when school starts, and they should pretty much be on top of their game. They've been playing all summer, been practicing. We play a lot in Michigan in the fall. The weather's usually pretty good. 70s. And then you take 5.5 months off from hitting outside. We do things indoors, but then we come into the spring and it could be 40 degrees and raining sideways. After we get back from that spring break trip, you really never know. The forecast for this weekend for our women's tournament in Columbus is a high of 50. So, you got a couple more layers on, and you haven't really been playing outside that much. So, yeah. But we do a lot of things inside to try to get them in tune for the spring and try to just build on each tournament.
And so both teams have already been in an invitational. Let's start off with the men's side, where things went well in Sebring, Florida. They finished, I believe, 9th?
9th, yeah.
They finished 9th. What did you see that they did well, and what did you see that might need to be improved upon? Because they have another tournament. They didn't have that one on Sunday with the women.
Right.
So what do they maybe need to improve on during that time?
The biggest thing is their short game and feel. When you take a long break from being outside, to get your feel, chipping and putting back is the hardest thing. So that's something we continue to work on inside, and hopefully we can get outside a couple days this week, yeah. And we head down to Tennessee on Sunday. So
now, if let's say weather conditions aren't the best this week, what do you guys go back inside and just hit inside?
Yeah, we have a permanent putting green that they can putt on pretty much any time the rec center's open, so 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., and that's available to them. And then we can do some chipping, and we can hit into nets inside. So we'll do that. We won't do that every single day, but hopefully, like I said, we can get outside and we don't have to worry about it.
And let's take a look at the women's side. They started off in Winter Spring, Florida. They finished 11th. Michelle Shams, she hit about 235. What did you expect that play out of your team? On that first invitational during spring break, and if so, why?
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of the same as on the women's side as it is on the men's. That first tournament, we don't really have huge expectations, and especially that women's tournament. The field we're playing in is probably one of the best tournaments in the nation. So you got 10 of the top 25 teams in the nation there, usually year in and year out. And like I said, it's a good chance for us to get good competition, go play somewhere warm, hit outside, and really just prepare for the rest of the spring, because especially on the women's side, our conference championships in the spring, and then regionals, and then nationals. So, that's the ultimate goal, is to make it to the national championship again. So we're just building up towards that.
Now, have you changed anything with preparing the women for nationals, or are you just taking the same approach that you did the last time?
Pretty much the same approach. Our schedule's almost virtually identical. I mean, there's a couple different tournaments, but this weekend we're going down to Ohio Dominican, and then this past weekend we played at Perry Park, same as last year. So a lot of the same. We have a couple different conference events that we're playing in, but overall pretty much the same.
Now, in that spring break time of being down in Florida, how do you keep your players focused and not distracted? Because I know that could probably be an issue for some teams.
Right. We have a pretty set schedule, and then we do give them a little bit of free time. Obviously, we're down there the whole week, and we're not going to be on the golf course 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we give them a little bit of free time, which I think helps give them a little bit of break from just practicing and playing all the time. But it's not really too bad. We're together as a team, and they all get along great, so it works out really well.
And what makes this spring season maybe a little bit different than last year's, even though last year's was just special? What's different?
Right. On the women's side, I think especially a lot of the players, they expect more of themselves. Last year, we had never been to the national championship. We pretty much knew we were going to get into the regional, and then we just went in with the attitude of just go out there and give it your best, have fun, and when it all panned out, we were in the top 3 in the regional and headed to the nationals. So, and we also host the conference championship, so expectations are high for a strong finish there. And
that's definitely going to have to be a strong finish, because if we're going to host it, we might as well, impress some people while we're at it. Is there, coaches always come in with a specific game plan, that they have for specific players. Even though the men's team is young, what do you try to keep saying to them, even though they're a younger player? Do you tell them, don't put your head down when you do bad or something like that? What do you need to tell these young guys?
Right. We really stress, staying positive on the golf course. I mean, there's going to be ups and downs with golf, and even though it is a team sport, you're also out there just by yourself. We're not playing together in tournaments or anything like that. So just really stressing, staying positive, taking it one shot at a time. Don't look too far ahead. And then really preparing when we have our practice round the day before the tournament starts, so you're ready for the tournament rounds.
And with the expectations of the guys, even though they're a younger team, are you keeping them at a high expectation level, or what are you trying to do with them?
Yeah, we're always, we're just trying to improve every day. And the spring is a little bit different for the guys because we've already had our conference championship. But we do have 2 big tournaments where most of the teams in the region come together, so we're preparing for those and just trying to get better on our finishes and improve each day.
And for this next invitational for the women, what are you expecting out of them in this one, and what are you expecting out of this invitational?
So we go to Ohio Dominican down in Columbus. That'll be on Sunday and Monday, and we're expecting top 5 finish. I think we should be right in the hunt with all the teams that are there. There's usually around 20 teams there. And, last week we finished 6th out of 26 at Perry Park. So a strong finish inside our region. Most of the regional teams were there. So we're in good shape right now to make it to the regional tournament again, which ultimately is the goal every year, because then if you put together 3 good rounds there, then you're headed to the nationals.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on. That's going to do it for another edition of Coach's Corner here on UFTV. Make sure you check back next week for another edition. We're going to try to get a lot more spring teams into this rotation. So thank you for watching, and have a nice day. I'm Brandon Emsweller.